What's up, Toy Fam, and welcome back to another episode of the Totally Cool channel. Yep, it's Thursday, so we're doing Throwback Thursday. You know, I think a few years ago there was that big thing on Facebook where you have Throwback Thursday. People like to post old pictures, sometimes with ex-girlfriends, ex-boyfriends, with all the things that should have stayed in the past. But one thing about Throwback Thursday here at the Totally Cool channel is that we're bringing back things that should have stayed with us. Not stayed in the past, but have stayed with us. And true enough, we have a toy line that harkens back to the memories of your childhood, especially for the 80s babies. Those who were born in the late 70s, early 80s like myself. And I think based on our analysis of the channel, most of our viewers are from that demographic. So we're bringing back toys. Well, not toys from that era because it's too hard to find, too expensive, but toys from that era have been reintroduced into this one. So I think some of you have seen our previous episodes on the Silverhawks. We're continuing that in our Throwback Thursday series, where we're bringing out the rest of the Silverhawks and members of the mob, their enemies. So for this episode, we're bringing out Mumbo Jumbo, I think one of the strongest enemies in terms of brute strength of the Silverhawks. So before we go into the toy and the character, let's look at the box. Now, Mumbo Jumbo came in the traditional Super7 Ultimates box, which had the sleeve. The red sleeve represents the mob, members of the mob. And you can see that it has Monstar's face on the front. Up top it says Ultimates, and at the back it says Silverhawks. So it's quite easy to distinguish between Silverhawks and the mob. It's red, it's got Monstar, they're the mob. So you slide the sleeve up, and I love this part. I just love this part when you open up the sleeve and you remove it and you see what the figure is and what weapons he has. Now, Mumbo Jumbo is a limbo mob henchman, one of the strongest. He's probably the powerhouse of all of the henchmen of Monstar. On the back, you would see his visage. Okay, an animated portrait of himself. It has the character bio. It says, just look at the figure, Mumbo Jumbo is a strong man of the Monstar gang. Mumbo Jumbo, when transformed to his more muscular bull form, is quite difficult to take down. He lacks intelligence and can be fooled easily. Uniquely, he is the only humanoid character which appears unable to speak in the human language. Though many characters have no trouble understanding him. He can in battle transform to a more muscular form, being more like a bull in physical shape and characteristics. So yeah, to say that he's bull-headed is a literal analysis of what his character is. So that's the box. What you see in front is what you will see when we open him up. Is you see the hands, you see the weapon. They all have like pet hawks or something, or pet flying weapons, and you see the actual figure. So let's cut to the chase and let's open him up. So, as I normally like to do with Silverhawks, I like to open the bottom, but it's not the same anymore, so let's come from the top. Just do the box cutters. Okay, be very careful. Set that aside. No, let's do that when we open the flap. All right. flap up, box to the side. All right. Okay. All right. Okay. So, as we normally do with Silverhawks, we like to see what's inside, but this one's just got a plain background, plain red background, so we'll keep it in there. It says Silverhawks Mumbo Jumbo. That's who he is. That's what he does. He's Mumbo Jumbo. Probably more of the Jumbo than the Mumbo. Doesn't mean he's into magic, because Mumbo Jumbo's like magical. He's not into that. So, as I said, what you see, unlike the other figures we've unboxed, there's a second layer to the others. This one does not. This is just a plain, one clamshell. It's got everything. It's got his 3 alternate right hands, 3 alternate left hands. The chain probably goes into his feet or his hands. His blaster, his alternate head. That's his weapon. It's like looks like a mallet or a hammer. And the flying weapon. Okay. What's his name? I'll put it somewhere on the screen. Okay. So, off the bat, looks nice. Got his nice grinning face. He's got his nice, mouth opened head. Let's free him from his prison. Now, surprisingly, this one does not have a lot of plastic ties. Just has that one right in the chest. So it's going to be very easy to free him up. It's not cut anymore, and just cut into this. Okay. Be very careful when you're dealing with box cutters, because you never know when it's going to slip and it's going to hit your hand. So that's one. One more. Okay. One more. Okay. It's taking a while. There. So let's pull this out, and let's start with that. I normally start with the hands. It's easier that way, because there's parts of the plastic where it locks the arms into place. So if you pull it by the waist, you still have to deal with the arms. So I pull it from the arm side, and I use that as leverage, and he pops right out. Okay. So let's... Out of the box, he doesn't stand very well. Just put the arms down. Okay. There we go. Let's see. Let's see. He is smiling at you. He does not look happy. He's the only guy who's smiling but doesn't look happy. So this is what's his face. What's his name? Okay. Just like Steel Will and Quicksilver, when we did another review, we had Tallyhawk. This one also has sort of like a hawk or a flying weapon. It's supposed to go like this. Okay, kind of tough. Okay, oops. What's that? Okay, shavings. So, okay. Yeah, it's supposed to just stand on this arm. Supposed to, but does it? Alright, this is starting to become a challenge. Put him aside. Okay, let's go into it. Let's see how the toy sizes up. Okay, now we're starting to see issues. Let's look at the head first. The head. It's got his nice horns, sharp horns that he just gouges people. It goes down, goes up. Nice. Good. Turns to... Doesn't have a lot of rotation. Doesn't turn to the right or left. Probably needs a chiropractor. The left arm goes to the side, but not all the way up. Goes down pretty okay. Goes forward okay. Goes back okay. This one, I'm wondering why it's so tight. It's got the same joint, so same. It doesn't go 90 degrees on you. Is that 90 degrees? Yeah, that's 90 degrees. It doesn't go the full 90 because of the bicep or the deltoid that just bangs into this whole shoulder part. But it's got 3 joints, actually 4. The shoulder, the bicep, the elbow, and the wrist. So the bicep allows you to twist it a little bit around, pretty much like how a normal arm would do. You know, you don't have to twist the shoulder. And then you have the elbow. The elbow can be tough. As you can see, it's not pinned, but it's got the joint over there. There you go. So it's probably still tight because it's been in the box for a while. And then the wrist action, you can twist it. It can fold forward a little bit because of that hinge right there. Okay. See, the plastic is still shaving off. Okay. There you go. And just like the other Super 7s, it doesn't have a waist rotation. It just has that ab crunch, if you could call it that. The ab crunch. And the ab tilt. Okay? So there we go. Now on the side, let's lift the arm. Let's look at the hip. Hip movement, pretty restricted. It doesn't go as far out because, again, like with steel will, the plastic rubber trunk holds this and stops it from moving as far as, say, doing a full split. Okay? It can go back down. It can go forward. Again, the forward motion is impeded because of the trunks. The crotch part, the groin part. It just doesn't allow it. Same thing with the from behind. See, this part here, this whole triangular part here prevents the legs from having a lot of mobility. Knees, single joint. Okay, single joint knees. Just that one. It does twist like that. I don't know why it does that. It's not anatomically correct. And then the foot. The foot has a little twist. No, it doesn't. It should. There you go. It just has a very little twist. Okay? So that's it. Let's see how well he can change his head. Okay? I love the part that the horns are, sharp-like. They look, yeah, they're a bit sharp. They're a bit sharp. So let's remove the head. Pop it. I suggest you flip it to the other side until it just, there you go. Okay? It's got a nice peg. Just pop this one in. And again, just have to jimmy it in. Okay. There we go. I apologize if my whole hand takes the screen, but it's kind of tough. Really tough to pop it in. It's easier to get it out than to get it in. So anyway, yeah, that's as far as I want to take it. It's still not in there. See, still not in there. Okay. Okay, I think I'll give it a rest. It's just too much effort. Whew, I'm winded. Okay. So, it's pretty easy to remove the hands, I think, because it's still got that nice peg where it has the gripping hand, it has the fist, it has the semi-gripping hand where you can put the blaster. Okay. So with that, I don't want to get too far into this review because the head just gave me nightmares. See, it's not even aligned. It's not even aligned. I don't know what I did. It's not in there. It's not in there. Okay. So, let's focus on this guy. All right. All right. So let's get into the review. As far as color is concerned, it's cool. I just don't know. I'm sorry. Before we get into that, I don't know why the shoulder is darker than the rest of the arm, and the hands are darker than the other parts of the arm. I just noticed that. Anyway, okay. So let's get into this. Again, box appeal. While it's in the box, you see the window, the sleeve opening up, and it's just ta-da! It's got a nice presentation. So Super 7 Ultimates, I'll give you big props for that, especially with the sleeve. There's so many ways to display it. You can display it out of the box. You can display it in the box without the sleeve, like a display case, and you can even display it with the box and the sleeve. So 5 out of 5 for that. For presentation, first impression, boom, you got it. Playability, that's where it gets me. And we've reviewed a couple of other Super 7 Ultimates. I think we did Windhammer, and we also did Steel Will. And I have more gripe about Steel Will, okay? That's because he's flying like he's swimming. But I thought that was a one-off. But with Mumbo Jumbo, now it's starting to feel like there's a trend. Playability, I give it 2. And I'm being kind. I'd probably give it a 1. Because to change the hands, it's got to be... I think there's a very difficult balance between being able to remove the hands quickly and making sure that they're not loose. So it may not even be the designer's fault. It's just the way it's supposed to hold its pose while being able to have that flexibility in play by being able to switch the hands or the other parts. So there's gotta be a compromise somewhere. So I believe for Super 7 Silverhawks, this is the third toy we've reviewed. They're probably leaning towards making sure that the joints are not loose, that they can hold their pose. Which brings me to the next item on our review, the shelf appeal, the desk appeal. Yes, now that's a 4 because it can hold its pose. The joints are not loose. They don't flop around. They don't fall on their face. They would stand. Given the right pose, they will stand. So put them on a shelf, put them in a glass cabinet, boom. All of the Silverhawks in front, all of the mob at the back. Pretty nice. You're good. So there, it's not really a toy. I think it's more of a, I don't know, I think it's an action figure that you don't play with, that you just pose. I don't know. So we go into the price point. It's a little bit expensive, so it's still a 2 for me. Random collectors or casual collectors would probably be turned off by the fact that it's more expensive than your average toy. If you compare it to Transformers or a G.I. Joe classified, it has some of the variations that you can put into different hands, different faces. This is more expensive. This is more high end. This is about $3,500, $4,000, about $80, $70, $80. So for a casual collector, you'd probably be more happy going into the G.I. Joe classified lines. But if you really love the Silverhawks, and there's not a lot of them, there's a cult following for Silverhawks, yeah, of course, why not? If again, a collector's motto: if you have the budget, if you have the space, if you have the time, and if you can find the right toy, go for it. But as far as I'm concerned, this toy, maybe 2.5, 2.5. I couldn't even give it a 3 because it's really very challenging to change the hands, But if you're a photographer and you like toys, it's your subject, by all means. So my personal take on it, and don't cut my ankles for giving that kind of review. It's I'd open it, I'd check it out, but I'd put them back in the box. All right. So with that ends our review of Mumbo Jumbo, and it's not really looking good for Super 7, or the Super 7 Silverhawks. We still have the Thundercats. So I'm hoping. We did the Thundercats in the past with Snarf. We're hoping to get into that in future Throwback Thursdays. But for the meantime, our Throwback Thursdays will be focused on the Silverhawks, and we've got quite a few. Okay, next would be Hot Wing, if I'm not mistaken. The next episode will be on Hot Wing. So as we end this episode, I would like to thank you for watching through this video, and we hope you click on like if you like this episode. Don't forget to smash the subscribe button. and the bell button to get notified if we post new contents. Again, Thursdays is for throwback toys, for 80s nostalgia. If you want to go back to being a kid, Thursdays is the day for you. With that, I thank you for watching. Hope to see you again on our future episodes. We have Transformers, we have G.I. Joe Classifieds, we have a lot of stuff. We have Marvel. So watch out for those episodes. Before we go, just want to say, toys are not just cool. They're totally cool. So I'll see you, and happy collecting.